हे गाइस, आज हम भारत में यूरोपियन का आगमन की चर्चा करेंगे, जिसमें हम देखेंगे कि कैसे भारत में मसाले की शोध में यूरोपियन कंपनी आई और आगे चल के उसी में से एक ने भारत को अपना कॉलोनी बना लिया। इसमें द अराइवल ऑफ यूरोपियन इन इंडिया मार्क द बिगिनिंग ऑफ कॉलोनियल रूल एंड सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज इन ट्रेड, पॉलिटिक्स एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, in which the various European power including Portuguese, Dutch, British and French, which come from for India primarily for trade and then after establish political control over the different region। इसका मतलब है कि शुरुआत में पोर्टुगीज भारत में व्यापार के उद्देश्य से आए थे, जिसके अंतर्गत भारत में कई जगह उसने फैक्ट्री और ट्रेडिंग सेंटर की स्थापना की और आगे चल के वही ट्रेडिंग आगे उसने पॉलिटिकल डोमेन और टेरिटोरियल कंट्रोल का पार्ट बन गया। अब नाउ वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाई द रीजन फॉर यूरोपियन एक्सप्लोरेशन। द फर्स्ट रीजन इज इकोनॉमिकल फैक्टर विच breakdown of feudalism in Europe led to economical expansion, while the rise of mercantilism increased the focus on acquiring wealth through the trade, which means that यूरोप में उस समय सामंतवाद का अंत हो रहा था और उसकी जगह मर्केंटाइलिज्म मीन्स वाणिज्यवाद का विकास हो रहा था। उसका अर्थ है कि व्यापार के द्वारा वेल्थ का सृजन करना। सेकेंड रीजन इज टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट। उस समय यूरोप में शिप बिल्डिंग और नेविगेशन की तकनीक के द्वारा दूर दराज के क्षेत्रों में व्यापार का सुलभ करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का विकास हो गया था। Third reason is new trade route. The search for direct trade route to bypass Arab and Venetian middlemen in the luxurious spice trade. The fourth reason is religious and geopolitical factor. उस समय यूरोप में क्रिश्चियनिटी का प्रचार हो रहा था। उसी के उद्देश्य से भारत की क्षेत्र में भी क्रिश्चियनिटी का विकास करने के लिए एक कारण था कि जिसकी की वजह से यूरोप का एक्सप्लोरेशन शुरू हुआ था। इसी के चलते द सर्च फॉर मेरीटाइम ट्रेड रूट, द अरब बिकॉज ऑफ द अरब ट्रेड रूट मोनोपोली, द अरब ट्रेड कंट्रोल द लैंड रूट बिटवीन द यूरोप एंड एशिया, एक्टिंग एज मिडलमैन एंड इंक्रीजिंग कॉस्ट फॉर यूरोपियन मर्चेंडाइज। एंड अनदर रीजन इज द इकोनॉमिक मोटिवेशन। In this time, growing European market required direct access to Indian goods, especially spices, textile and luxurious item, which drive to search alternative route। and इसी के चलते पोर्टुगीज के नेतृत्व में नए मार्ग की शोध की शुरुआत हुई। Now, the arrival of Portuguese in India, the Vasco da Gama, who arrived in Calicut, making the beginning of European influence in India. The Zomori, the regional ruler, who welcomed due to the political economical benefit, and then after a direct sea route to India break the Venetian and Arab monopoly on the spices trade। उसके बाद वास्को दी गामा अगली बार भी जब आया यूरोप इंडिया में तब अपने साथ 15 शिप लेके आया था, जिसकी वजह से उसने कोचिन और कोनिकोड में अपना फाउंडेशन स्थापित किया था। नाउ वी लुक इम्पोर्टेंट पोर्टुगीज गवर्नर। द फर्स्ट गवर्नर ऑफ पोर्टुगीज इज फ्रांसिस्को डी अल्मेडा, who introduced blue water policy। The blue water policy means it is one type of cartridge system which control the Indian Ocean। Then after, the second governor is Alfonso de Albuquerque, who captured the Goa from the Bijapur Sultan and established the first permanent Europe settlement in India, which remained under the Portuguese control until the 1961। It is the important fact that भारत में सबसे पहले यूरोप में से पोर्टुगीज आए थे और लास्ट में भारत छोड़ने वाले भी पोर्टुगीज थे। ओके, आगे चलते हैं। or last one important Portuguese governor is Nino da Cunha, who shifted headquarters from Cochin to Goa and expand the Portuguese influence to Bengal. Goa was developed in magnificent city called Golden City, Golden Goa. Then commercial network. The Portuguese established a vast trading network linking Europe, Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. They controlled the key ports such as Hormuz, Goa, Malacca, Macau, which facilitated trade in spices, textile, precious stone, and other luxurious items. Their commercial strategy focused on controlling strategic choke point rather than large territory possession, which means that पोर्टुगीज का उद्देश्य ऐसे चोक पॉइंट पर कंट्रोल प्राप्त करना था जिससे वो मेजर ट्रेड रूट पर अपना कंट्रोल पा सके। इसके बाद पोर्टुगीज के अंतर्गत कई भारत में कल्चरल और रिलीजियस इम्पैक्ट पड़ा, जिसके मतलब उस समय पोर्टुगीज मिशनरी पर्टिकुलरली द ज्यूस अंडर संत फ्रांसिस Xavier, who actively promoted Christianity in India. They built numerous church and education institutes in this territory, and then after Portuguese culture influenced in Goa architecture, cuisine, music, and many another factors. The Portuguese presence in India gradually declined in the 17th century with the rise of other European powers, particularly Dutch and British. They challenged the Portuguese monopoly, and arrival of Dutch and British. It helped to. However, their legacy as the pioneer of European colony in India remained the significance in shaping the course of Indian history. Then after the arrival of Dutch company established as the Dutch East India Company at 1602, which established the controlled trade in the East Indies. Majorly, their trade center is situated at Masulipatam, Pulicat, and Surat. Here is one of the interesting fact is that for particularly in prelim, if the question is coming that which company or which European power arrived in India, the chronology is that Portuguese, then after Dutch, then British, and then Francis. But if the question is coming and asking about the establishment of East Indian Company, then the sequence is Portuguese East India Company, and then after English East India Company and Dutch East India Company. लेट मी ये ध्यान रखने की बात है क्योंकि प्रीलिम में इस तरह की सीक्वेंस कई बार आती है. देन आफ्टर डिक्लाइनेशन ऑफ डच, द अनेबल टू कम्पीट विथ द ब्रिटिश एंड लॉस्ट इन्फ्लुएंस आफ्टर एंग्लो डच वॉर. और डच का प्राइमरी फोकस स्पाइसिंग ट्रेड था जो आगे चल के इंडोनेशिया में मसाला द्वीप पर फोकस हो गया. देन आफ्टर we are looking that arrival of British in India. The British India Company gradually transferred from trading enterprise to political power, eventually laying the foundation of British colonial rule in India. The company formation is that East India Company established in 1600 with the royal charter from the Queen Elizabeth I, who granting the monopolical right all English trade in East Indies. Means that Queen Elizabeth gave charter to East India Company to monopoly over the all Indian English trade. Now we looking at which where the factory is established by Britishers. The establishment in Masulipatam and Surat, which the become the company's first headquarter in India and center for cotton textile trade. Here it is one of the interesting fact that uh, earlier company like Portuguese and Dutch who come for only spices. Now the English British company is coming for mainly for cotton textile, which lead to his expansion in Bengal, where the factory in Hooghly and Calcutta. With the Fort William become the major trading port and military base in eastern India, which further uh, which further lead to political control over the Bengal with the Battle of Plassey marked beginning of British rule when the Robert Clive defeat the Nawab of Bengal, because that Bengal is the main region where the British interest is going, and the giving the company control over the rich Bengal province. Okay, next. After the Battle of Plassey, the company rapidly expanded its territory control through the combination of direct annexation, subsidy reliance, and doctrine of lapse, which led to colonialism in India. The last European company is arrived is French. The French establishment is their presence in India later than other European power, but quickly become the significant player in the political landscape of South India. यानी कि भारत में फ्रांस लास्ट में आए थे, लेकिन उसने जल्द ही अपनी पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस साउथ इंडिया में स्थापित कर ली थी. फ्रेंच ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का एस्टेब्लिशमेंट 1664 में था. उसका मेजर सेटलमेंट पोंडिचेरी, चांद्रनगर एंड माहे. एंड देन आफ्टर द पॉलिटिकल एंड कल्चरल इम्पैक्ट इन साउथ इंडिया, द फ्रेंच competed directly with British for the influence in India, particularly in southern region. Their conflict with the British known as Carnatic War, which ultimately resulted in the decline of French power in Indian subcontinent. The next one is the Carnatic War. This war was transformed the commercial rivalry between the European trading company into political and military content for the dominance in the Indian subcontinent. Means that the Carnatic War भारत में ब्रिटिश और फ्रांस कंपनी के लिए एक वर्चस्व की लड़ाई थी, जिसके अंत में ब्रिटेन की जीत होती है और फ्रांस की भारत में प्रेजेंट कम होता है. इसमें फर्स्ट कार्नाटिक वॉर है वो ऑस्ट्रिया की सक्सेसर मामले में लड़ा गया था. इसमें फ्रेंच कैप्चर द मद्रास, बट it returned it after the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Here one of the important thing is that we remember the treaty which particularly happened in the particular war. Now the importance of this war is the Battle of Adyar, which is significant because it demonstrating the effectiveness of European trained Indian Sipahi against the larger traditional Indian armies. In this war, despite their military success under the France, but diplomatic settlement in Europe forced to French to return the Madras to British. Then after the Second Carnatic War, it war done between the power struggle between British supported Muhammad Ali and France supported Chanda Sahib. British victory secured the dominance in South India. This conflict represents the shifting in European strategy from direct confederation to fight through local proxies. The France supported Chanda Sahib claimed to be Nawab of Carnatic, while the British backed his rival Muhammad Ali want to uh, established as the Nawab of Carnatic. But at last, the siege of Trichinopoly was ended the British success under the leadership of Robert Clive. In further, Robert Clive influence will be implemented in Bengal War also, which in Battle of Plassey. Okay, the next one is that Third Carnatic War. It is the part of the 7 Years' War which happened in Europe. The British decisively defeated the France at the Battle of Vandivos. In this Battle of Vandivos is the last war where the French power is ended in India. Following this defeat, the France lost Pondicherry and their other settlement. And at the last, the Treaty of Paris, which happened after the end of the 7-Year War, allowed the French to return in India, but only as a trades, without military or political power. This effectively eliminated France as a colonial power in India and leaving the British East India Company as the dominant European force in the subcontinent. Now it is given the timeline of European arrival in India. You can remember the important fact and detail. Now there is some question below it which explain PYQ of UPSC. You can solve it and give the answer at comment section, and I will right click or give heart for a right answer. And this box is the explanation. The original question is 1, 2, 3 statement is there. Okay, and the third question you can answer by the elimination technique. You can help you to elimination technique. Thank you.